Hey everyone, welcome back to the show here. David Freak Turley with Sam, Kobe, Hartman, Kensley. We are casting that was a bad high five.
I was just going to wave at you.
I'm sorry. I completely missed this one. We're going to be casting the North American LCS Expansion Tournament, guys. It's going to be another great match coming up ahead. The next match is going to be Curse Academy versus Coast. And as we discussed earlier in the show, the winners overall in this tournament, we got 4 teams here. The top 2 are joining the LCS.
Yes, and the ones that lose don't really lose because they get to play in the Challenger Series.
Yeah, and we're going to have...
You cast.
Which I do cast. I'll be casting LCS as well with you, but me and Zyrene will be casting Challenger, and we're going to have more information on the Challenger season. Monday, I believe, is that post going to come up, so if you want to know more about the Challenger Series or about the teams playing out in front of you today, you're going to learn more about them in the coming weeks. Now, also keep in mind that this is a 4-team double elimination bracket, so we're going to see how the teams have been doing so far. Team Fusion did just come off a very close match against Final 5, and they will be waiting for the winner of this match, Curse Academy versus Coast. The winner of that match versus Fusion will join the LCS.
Yeah, that was an exciting one. Really close there. The teams that are about to play were wondering who they were going to be facing, even if they do win this one there.
Yeah, I ended up talking with the Coast players a whole lot. I was kind of standing behind them because they were like the closest to where we were sitting in the first place. So I like walk over and just say hi to them, like, hey, what are you thinking about? And they're like, dude, the dream is alive. Like, can't believe this is going to happen. Like, these guys are showing up. And it was like a really good start by Final 5. But, of course, double elim and best of 5s, consistency tends to win through for you here. And as we saw, Fusion got a lot better throughout the series, and hey, they managed to pull it out. And so here in this BO5, I feel like consistency is going to be important as well.
Yeah, especially in the preseason, because there's a lot of opportunity in the mid-game for teams that are behind to come back. So we'll see if these next 2 teams are going to be able to finish them out once they do get a lead as well, because both these teams are really confident. I was talking to them before as well. Curse and Coast both think that they can win.
Interesting, because I was actually talking to Coast, and to me, like, they felt more confident. I was talking to their coach. He's like, yeah, we're 7-1 against them all time. Like, these guys never beat us, like, ever. It's going to be, like, not necessarily a cakewalk, but he's like, we're very confident. We're the heavy favorites here. It's going to be Coast for sure. And I was like, all right, I trust you here.
Yeah,
but
big words.
Got to see how that all matches up. And, of course, watching them all play solo queue, watching them all prepare for the matches in the first place. It's interesting because you were talking about the preseason changes and players adapting to and whatnot. Well, Impaler was like looking up all of St. Vicious's rune pages. He's like, what is he prepared to play here? What did he make rune pages for? And Saint, by the way, was nice and labeled his rune pages after the champions. He has like a Gragas rune page, a Sinjao rune page, like an Evelyn rune page. He's like, well, those champions are brought to the pool. No Fiddlesticks page, so hey, unnecessary ban there. No Warwick page. Like, it's interesting. Sometimes you give your opponents like extra information.
Saint was pretty outspoken at IM San Jose that he wasn't a big fan of Warwick,
Yeah.
or really any of the Devour champions. And this is still on 420 before Devour gets nerfed.
That's true. So yeah, he didn't bring a Kale or Twisted Fate or Warwick rune page. But Impaler also made the note that Saint's running in most of his rune pages like 4 or 5 health per level seals. Like these like really like heavy scaling things where he's like expecting to get out of the jungle. And Impaler was like, well, I mean that's punishable. Like he's not running armor. Like he's gonna take a whole bunch of damage in the jungle. This is great. And then he just like got information by profiling his opponent.
So what you're saying is Coast are going to do early invades.
I mean, there's a chance, like, but it's cool because they actually made this prep already. So Team Coast, Chris is seeing them on your screen here. Chris, one of the new guys to the roster as well. Impaler over from Super Hot Crew. Jess is in there from SK last season, and Mash and Sheep been there for a while there, and these guys are absolutely incredible players.
Yeah. All of those guys have been in the LCS at some point.
Yeah, it was actually interesting. I spoke to them just before this cast, and I was like, guys, you all 5 came from different LCS teams. Every single one of them, their LCS team was a different team. It's time to make it number 6 together. And they're like, wow, that's the best pep talk we've ever had in our lives. I was like, that wasn't what it was supposed to be, but I'm just stating fact.
Good work, Freak.
Yeah. But yeah, and again, they're coming in with high spirits. They're coming in pretty confident. I mean, both teams did have to sit here and kind of wait for the entire best of 5 series. And sometimes that can be tiring where you're like, okay, yeah, we're ready to go. Okay, it's 2-0. All right. Okay, we got to wait 3 more hours. And you're like waiting through these games.
Yeah.
Like at the start, they were all playing solo queue. They were all watching the stream. And then as time wore on, like they all kind of like just kind of sat there. Just like, well, twiddling my thumbs, kind of waiting for the games to start. And it was kind of interesting, like the mindset they had.
Yeah, fatigue is definitely going to be a factor. Not only that because they had to wait here for so long, but also because this is a best of 5 as well.
It is, and it's going to be a very, I think, close one. This is kind of the series everyone thought was going to be the super close one. I think people were surprised by the Final 5 versus Team Fusion matchup overall, and that actually went to 5 games. People were expecting Fusion to do so well. So
it was a surprising game, that's for sure.
It was, especially game 1. Unfortunately, we missed it. We were like driving up here at the time, so we missed the entire comeback. But it was good overall. So Curse Academy, of course, another great group of players the other team we're going to be looking at here. Hanser, new guy in the top lane, is actually super impressive all throughout Challenger last season. And he's certainly stepping up here. Got promoted to Curse Academy from LOL Pro. That seems to be kind of the bigger of the 2 teams. So he's kind of hitting as hard as he can there in the top lane.
Working his way up through the organization.
Yeah.
And then I guess Saint, you could say, is working his way the opposite direction went from Curse down to Curse Academy. But he's definitely wants to be the leader of this team. He said he doesn't, during that interview, he literally said he didn't really care as much about getting back in, but he was doing it for his team. He wants to get these guys to have the same experience that he had.
And it's curious to see what that mindset's going to be. I guess it will make him a little bit more selfless here. Keen in the mid lane, or Kian, apparently some people call him, but everyone decided calling him Keen in this case. And he's got a very interesting champion pool. I like the fact that he plays the Hecker in mid.
Yeah, that's big.
That's great. It's a whole bunch of fun. Cop also one of the, you said, kind of demoted for St. Vicious, but another great player. He's got a super high KDA. He's honestly a very good AD carry player, but he is on the safe side as far as playstyle goes. And then finally, Bunny Fufu with support. It was fun. I got to talk to Sheep about that, and I was like, yeah, the guy's going to pick Thresh. I'm like, well, so are you. It's like, well, yeah, one of us is going to get the champion every game.
And he's been learning other champions besides Thresh, too.
Well, sure.
So he's been trying to expand his pool. But, of course, the Thresh is going to be highly contested between both of these supports.
It's interesting because we haven't seen these guys play very much. We've seen them play throughout the expansion tournament, but I've not been able to cast them since kind of way back when, the end of last season. And so Janna showed up as a big champion since then, since I've cast these guys. And Janna and Thresh tended to be like the top two, the supports that everyone went for. And I want to see if they heavily over-prioritize Thresh because of both players' sort of skill and knowledge of that champion.
Yeah. Soraka is pretty high up there right now, too. This is, like we said before, the current patch where Soraka's regen gets nerfed, so still extremely strong there.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of different reads on how strong she is.
She's easy to play, too.
She's easy to play, right? She's a great champion. Her laning phase especially, but I've had some players tell me she's not very good when you're behind. If you're winning, she's great. You bump health in your team, and it's fine. But Thresh can make that hook and turn a game around if you're losing.
So that's the thing. You just need to adapt the rest of your team. Bring some initiation from somewhere else, not from the support role. Support is traditionally where a lot of the CC does come from.
That's true. Yeah, but people have been playing a lot more disengaged supports, the Janna, the Soraka, things like that. So the different team comps definitely are coming around, and teams have to adapt.
I really like the Janna plus Azir as well. With those two giant knockbacks, that's a crazy siege comp just with those two already.
Yeah, and again, talking with the players about that, they're watching the games as well, and dude, Azir is so disgusting if you're against a good one, because he hits you from out of your range. He has a bunch of poke that he's typically not pulling aggro from. You see him throw sand soldiers over the wall.
My favorite part is being able to kill pink wards from half a screen away with the little soldiers.
I didn't realize that they actually triggered there. Attacks, I didn't realize that actually worked there. But it makes sense now in the end of it all. Oh right, of course they'll work for turret for ward damage. But yeah, he kills them in 3 auto attacks instead of 5.
Yeah,
pink wards anyway.
Pretty glorious. Strong.
Yeah,
all right, we got a little bit of technical difficulties, but
yeah, Curse Academy in there. Looks like Coast is not quite. I did know coming into this one, actually, Impaler wasn't feeling very well, and so there's a chance we might see some pauses during the series or some delays because he's ill. Kind of, sort of out of nowhere, he was ill before he came in, and
winter flu going around, maybe.
It might be, and hopefully I don't get sick. I'll try not to talk to Impaler too much and keep myself at the end of this one. But there's always a chance that's what's going on here. But we will, of course, get our teams in so far. So, Kobe, you actually managed to cast IM San Jose. This is actually my first series casting in the preseason.
I did manage it, just barely.
I didn't realize I said that. That's my verb there. So yeah, you cast IM San Jose. What sort of big lessons were you seeing? How were teams playing compared to Worlds, or how were teams playing compared to Season 4?
A lot of teams did not know what they were doing on the preseason. It looked like there was a lot of messing around, like I said, in that mid game, where teams still aren't quite sure what to do, and they're taking a lot of risks, I think, that were a little bit unnecessary. The thing is, the second and third row of towers are a lot stronger than they used to be. One with the shield, and then the other with the laser beams everyone's talking about. So once teams push up, even though they're winning, and they get to these turrets, kind of oh, it's harder to get in than we used to do, and they still are throwing themselves at those turrets, and it's a bit harder rather than controlling the dragons, trying to stack that up, or taking control of the jungle.
Yeah, it's true. And I feel like I'm also seeing Baron over-prioritized. It feels like
they want some way to get through these turrets.
It's the weird thing, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of things at play here that are going to still be figured out. So the one thing is Baron is immediately weaker, right? You've got to recall back to get any of the regeneration benefit, more or less. Then you have to go and push with the minion wave. I didn't realize how much that regen actively made a difference in team fights. It's yeah, well, you just recall back, get your health, whatever. It's no, you actually get a whole bunch of health back during a fight from that.
But it makes your cannon minions ridiculous. So if you get any of the other ways of buffing up cannon minions, like a Banner of Command is actually one of my favorite items now.
Yeah.
Because it's already ridiculously hard to clear cannon minions that are buffed by Baron because of the range.
Right.
If you also make them immune to magic damage, then you don't even have to go hit the turret. I've had a game where you sit there with one cannon minion, and it's immune to magic damage. It just slowly takes down the turret because they can't get in and clear.
You know what's funny about that actually is I was actually in a game yesterday where we got the Baron buff. We didn't get a Banner of Command, unfortunately. I didn't realize this, but actually the cannon minion attacks from so far away, backdoor bonus comes back onto turrets while they're in combat. So it gets back to 300 armor and MR and takes like 15 damage a shot. I had an inhibitor, so you know how like turrets, when they take more damage, they crumble visually?
Yeah.
So I had an inhibitor turret crumble, uncrumble, and crumble again because it regenerated between the auto attacks. Like I've never seen that before, but like it went backwards, it like regenerated itself.
That is an interesting.
Rocks came back on.
Interesting side effect.
Yeah. But yeah, you were talking about sort of, using Baron as a way to push in. You're talking about Banner of Command. I'm actually curious to see what teams will actually do to win their games, like how they will eventually adapt and learn to win in games out. Because Baron, I feel like, has baited a lot of teams into bad fights. We saw that in Final 5 versus Fusion. Banner of Command also builds out of Aegis. So it's actually a pretty convenient build path for most conventional supports. Like, Jannas get Aegis a lot of the time anyway, and instead of going Locket, you spend 1,000 gold somewhere else, and you've got this extra aura. And, once you've got a Banner of Commanded sort of group of minions, then actually getting an Elixir of Ruin 400 gold, not a huge investment. Suddenly you can actually take down turrets this way instead. I think especially if you start running like Caitlyn, Jinx, Tristana, those guys want that Elixir.
Yeah, it's such an interesting build path for that item because you get to just choose which active you value more, the team fighting shield or the actual seed potential with the cannon buff.
Yeah, and pretty much every team runs some kind of magic damage, so Aegis is useful in most cases anyway, and it ends up panning out pretty nicely. Pushing is something I think we're going to see teams figure out a bit better over time. Prioritizing Baron properly is something they're going to figure out over time. It kind of reminded me of Season 4 with the trinket changes, how long it took people to start actually grabbing blue trinket and red trinket on time.
The Scrying Orb.
Yeah,
how many times?
How many times were we hoping Scrying Orb? And now it's like third back AD carry every game.
Yeah.
You get it by like 12
Sometimes
minutes.
teams will even get two of them.
That's true. Yeah, double AD comps specifically seem to run them a lot, but occasionally mid laners grab those things. And 3 supers per team is like mandatory and automatic. You always pick that up. And over time people kind of learn what kind of stuff works. And it is kind of the new testing ground for everyone. I'm actually curious also if these challenger teams are more well adapted to the new season, because the LCS teams, a lot of them came off of Worlds, and then they go to the IM San Jose, and of course they're playing the new season, but because they know their LCS season isn't starting for another month and a half, like how much practice they're putting in compared to teams like Curse Academy, compared to teams like Coast, who have tournaments that are, I would say, of extra importance right in front of them right now.
Well, I definitely know, at least for Cloud9, that they were practicing a ton for IM San Jose.
Okay, so they were putting in a lot of work, and hey, they won for it, so.
It showed, yeah.
They dropped a map, I think.
Yeah, definitely worked out. And that was their hometown. They really wanted to win that one. So
that's true. Yeah, so good for them.
St. Vicious also won there. Another winner at IM San Jose. Took down Hotshot and crew.
Yeah, I forgot who all was on Saint's team. None of Curse Academy, right? It was just him pulling up.
No,
a bunch of other
Liquid
retired.
Was, though.
Okay, so he counts. He's part of Curse organization.
Yeah.
I'll give him that one.
The other thing I learned at IM San Jose, you know how Lissandra, she's going to play it a lot. You know how her passive, right? She gets a free spell, mana-wise. Her head starts to glow when she has it up.
Yes.
So if you're playing against Lissandra and her head starts to glow, you know that she's going to want to come and cast a spell and try and hit you with it, and you can play around that.
That's a good point. I'm trying to think which other passives have good visual indicators.
Good indicators, yeah.
I know Anivia and Zac don't for their revive passives.
That one's kind of annoying, Anivia. You always have to keep clicking on it to see if the egg is gray or not.
Yeah, well, so I discovered something actually. I was playing Anivia yesterday or the day before, and my teammate clicked on me, and there was no buff icon anymore. It wasn't there on the buff bar. So I could tell that I had my passive up playing Anivia, it's a little cooldown ticker in the bottom. I think the buff went away. I'm just saying it exists.
Okay.
Okay. I agree that it should be there. I actually remember when we changed the tech to put ammo counters on the cooldowns.
Oh yeah.
Akali's ulti, right? The buff got moved down into the taskbar as well, and then you couldn't count Akali dashes. And I was like, hey guys, we should put that back in. You're right, we should put that back in. And they put it back in, and then it disappeared again. So a couple of champions are actually missing those.
You should keep those in your head, freak.
I'm just kind of spouting out about things that I'm thinking about. Coast, unfortunately, they're still missing in action right now. I don't see. I do have a couple guys in the lobby. Jess and Sheep are here. So at least part of the team is here and ready to go. I'm unsure exactly what's happening with Coast. I'm being told we are almost ready, so the game should be coming up soon. Kind of thinking about the teams here, it is, again, a pretty close match. You're basically one step away from LCS. If you win this series, you fight Fusion for that honor.
Which is going to be a tough battle.
Yeah, very tough battle. Fusion obviously considered heavy favorites here. But that said, after the showing Final 5 put against them, like, the team that loses here does not want to fight that team. Like, again, walking back, my stories were all just, I was talking with Coast 10 minutes ago because that's my entire context now for today. And he's like, oh, the dream is dead, whatever. Or it might have been Chris County, it doesn't really matter. One of the players that's going to play in this tournament, one of their managers talking to them. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be a close series. He's like, yeah. He's like, good luck, hope you don't lose, hope you do well, everything. And he's like, yeah. And then as, he was kind of talking about the last series and how it looked a little bit sloppy for him. And I was like, well, keep in mind, though, like, what's all your guys' record against Fusion? Like, Final 5 put up, like, the best fight any team, like, ever has against these guys. Like, this is a very scary lower bracket in this tournament. He's like, yeah, that's a good point. Like, we can't underestimate anyone in this tournament.
Yeah. Whoever loses this game having to go up against Final 5. Final 5 has surprised everybody.
Their entire bracket has been upsets.
Underrated, yeah.
Like, throughout the online portion of the tournament, both fights there was one of the Complexity squads and Zenith, I believe. Both those were upset wins. Then here against these guys, right? 2-0 against Fusion, which very few teams are probably ever going to be able to say they've been able to do here. So, honestly, again, pretty good showings there. Fusion, you could say they faltered. Nien said so on air. He said, yeah, I feel like we kind of started that series a bit slow, but still, you got to bring it here.
I had fun watching all of the Zed split pushing by both teams. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a big factor in this this matchup here. Split pushing, still a valid strategy, even though the turret's a lot stronger now.
Yeah, your opponent has 300 more health than you try to all in them at tier 2, and you got to hope that's enough that you can still kill them through. But picks and bans have been started. Impaler's Lee Sin is gone to LeBlanc away from Keen as well. We're going to see what these teams are able to pick up for themselves here in Game 1 of potentially 5.
So we're talking about this battle over Thresh and how Soraka might be entering that battlegrounds, but it looks like early target here. So maybe Thresh will be a first pick worthy champion even.
There's a good chance here. I'm thinking about all the really big ones. So yeah, Warwick not a St. Vicious champion. We're likely to not see that ban there. Nara's a big one, of course. And yeah, you're right. Thresh is pretty big here as well. And I want to see, like, what is the sort of triangle of supports there, right? Is it Soraka, Janna, Thresh, and like one count as the other? Or what kind of game plan is here? It's something you kind of only see pan out deeper down into a season.
Yeah, I feel like the Curse Academy will have a really high tendency to run double AP comps. So banging out Nara not really going to hurt them with Hanser. Very happy to play any AP champion up top. Maokai already the Mao Silver for him.
Yeah, he's locked that one in actually, and hopefully he picks the right Maokai skin because haunting Maokai would be ideal with a champion name like that or a player name like this, but that's been locked up there for Hanser in the top lane. Interesting, a couple of pinches went on here though because you've dropped out a couple of top tier junglers, and in fact that was picked up by Impaler. The Lissandra already grabbed as well by Chris.
Quick pick up there. Yeah, I like early picking Lissandra just because she's so flexible and can go to either lane.
That's true.
Mid or top. And Jarvan doesn't give anything away. Jarvan really high priority for a lot of junglers right now just because of his ability to create early plays. Meteos was going full tank build at all of IEM San Jose, and it worked out really well for him as well. His use of the Cataclysm as well as just providing those buffs to the rest of his team was definitely a big part of their success.
Yeah, and especially because we're seeing less and less top lane tanks, right? We're seeing Maokai's, but like not many Mundos, not almost any Alistairs as well. So tank Jarvan is fine because you've got Rumble and stuff in there who are actually providing damage from the top lane. The Lucian does come out though, and the Thresh does go to Bunny Fufu.
And I really do like the changes to the tank item for junglers. Makes that a lot more viable. Now it just gives you that flat 500 HP once again, rather than the old changes that they gave up to the Spirit Stone type tank items where you had to give away more health after that. It took a long time to come online. Now you get instant gratification when you complete it.
Yeah, and the jungle items are super efficient too, right? You get a whole lot of value for gold because you can only buy it on a jungler. It kind of like bridges the gap that junglers don't get a whole lot of gold normally. Blitzcrank, though, coming out for Sheep. Thinks that's how he's going to beat up Bunny Fufu.
Nice. Hooks versus hooks here. So anytime you see Blitzcrank in solo queue, you think, oh, early invade.
Yeah.
Just because he's extremely strong there. But Lissandra's also really good for early invades too, and Ezreal does a decent job as well. So maybe we'll see Coast trying to get off to a good early start here.
That's true. They got so many ways to check brushes, so many ways to poke out without getting really caught. And in fact, most of them can just get away if something does go wrong. So
And it's it's a really big part of preseason, I feel like, that some teams have been missing out on, is getting early vision on where your opponent jungler starts can be huge because the respawn timers on the camps are so long. You can really map out their movements for a very, very long time after that and get some good early countering. Like you said, Impaler was looking at St. Vicious runes and saw a lot of scaling, so maybe they want to get that early vision and take advantage of him.
Well, speaking of taking advantage, though, St. Vicious is on one of the safest junglers in this patch, though. Pantheon comes out, blocking like every auto attack. And again, 4.20 is high attack speed, a lot of shields.
420 Pantheon is a very strong champion. It's just really versatile because it not only gives you that early dragon threat that everyone loves to talk about, which is, may or may not be worth it depending on how long it's going to take you to take it down, but his gank pressure is insane, and as you said, being able to block auto attacks in the current jungle is so much more valuable than it used to be. He can stay a lot higher health.
Well, it's going to see how this one's going to go, though. Speaking of high health, though, a bunch of assassins have come through. Zed here for Keen and Ari for Jess's, so very high damage mid lane, going to bring people's health bars down, and it's going to be pretty volatile. Both these junglers are very good at ganking early on. They're notorious for their early ganks, in fact, and just a very volatile matchup here in the mid lane. Yeah,
this matchup is really, really skill-based, Ari and Zed, and if you do have, Saint and Impaler come and try and mess that up, that can easily snowball for the rest of the game. Jez's signature champion here, Ari, that he's, played since the beginning, and we do get to see what split-pushing Zeds can do if they get an early lead, as we've seen in the last couple of series.
Yeah,
they can even come back, even if your team is extremely far behind. Always have that in your pocket. Go with the high-style secret missions, trying to split push on the sides.
See if you can make that happen. What interests me as well, though, is how Coast play their pick and ban, because they're playing one of the atypical AD carries. Ezreal we have not seen very much of. Typically, the AD carry tier list is, okay, it's Lucian and Thresh.
Yeah.
Lucian and Corki, and then like everyone else. And these guys banned Corki, let Lucian go through, like no worries. They basically could guarantee that Kappa's going to pick that champion and said, look, we'll give you the Thresh, we'll give you the Lucian. We're going to play this other entirely different lane of uncommon champions. And I want to see if that's actually like this secret counter pick. There's like some special reason why Ezreal blitzes the lane here for Ghost.
I don't think it's like it's a secret counter pick here. I've seen actually quite a few people have Ezreal as their backup behind the top two. It's just been coming back in popularity because you can go with so many different builds with him. And as you're saying, with Blitzcrank, they have a lot of mobility here.
Yeah, pretty good early power spikes. Now, guys, if you want to join the conversation, if you're tired of just us talking, you can always tweet out at LOL Esports, hashtag LCS Expansion. Send a few myself. You guys, keep tuning in, keep chiming in with what you think is going to happen in these games and what you thought about the action so far. But we're getting ourselves into the game here. Game 1 in the second best of 5 of the day. Winner plays against Team Fusion for a spot in the North American LCS. Losers got to face off against Final 5 to stay alive in this bracket. And here we go.
All right, we are going to see that early action we expected from Curse. Blitzcrank leading the way right into the ward.
All right, so maybe not too much gained right here. And yeah, St. Vicious pops his trinket down, and everyone's going to be nice and happy. So, didn't work on the top side. Go's going to run to the bottom side instead. Still got plenty of ways to chuck brushes. In fact, Ari joins that group, so every single person here can toss up into a brush and get feedback on if someone's there or not.
Yeah, perfect defensive line of trinket wards here for Curse Academy already, though, so any invade will be seen. See if they can actually turn anything around, though. Lane swap coming in, Thresh and Lucian going up top. Some people just really don't like laning against Blitzcrank. The other thing is that Lissandra can beat up on Maokai.
That's true, actually. It's a pretty good matchup here, and I've seen it played a couple of times. If you guys are watching OGN, we tend to see those top laners a whole bunch throughout that series and throughout that league, I should say. But we're going to see how this pans out anyway. Coast are going to send their bot lane to the bottom lane, and the Curse Academy duo goes top, so lane swap going to happen. Now we're going to see what these teams do in a lane swap itself, and if either team actually saw that it was happening.
Ooh, so from a lot of top lane Maokais, we've seen this start actually just fully sapling, stalking the Wraith camp or the Raptor camp or the Razor Beasts.
Yep.
Whatever you want, because it will instantly explode the small ones, which do most of the damage. So it's pretty easy level 2 instantly for Maokai there. Meanwhile, Lissandra stuck with the double jungle style, following Impaler around, and Sheep steals the red.
Well, hold on, though. We're going to watch on this one, though. You're kind of giving us a bit of a spoiler there. Sheep does get it. Early smite by St. Vicious. Yeah. Well, that's a good start there for this one. Early smites. I mean, You want the cooldown back, of course, because it's a fairly dangerous jungle and your smite uptime is important, but that was without ward coverage. Really good play by Sheep.
Yeah, we talked about the early wards in the jungle here, and they snuck that one into the back of the red. Blitzcrank Playmaker.
All right, so Jess now has a good amount of safety there. He knows St. Vish is going to be under-leveled, no red buff for himself either. And, you know, Haunter also sucking up experience. Like, Saint's still level 1 here.
Other than that, just the regular lane swap, everybody following around, which leads the mid laners by themselves. And Jez is getting a nice early shove here on Zed, trying to pressure him up against his turret. Now, as a mid laner, when you are facing lane swaps in the team, then you have to ward up like he just did on the top side where the enemies have their duo, because that's where the control is for everybody, and you don't want to be susceptible to those 3-man ganks mid.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many like cool reasons why. It's like, not only does the jungler tend to stay on the top side jungle in the first place, but it's also where the supports roam down to, and it's just the right choice here. So, yep, Sheep and Impaler doing a good job juggling aggro back and forth. Sheep even gets an auto attack down every time, just to make sure like he's maximizing DPS. This dragon will eventually release soon and heal slightly. It might just roost back down to the ground, but looks like it's going to die fast enough anyway. We're going to get this one cleared pretty quickly. No damage taken at all. Well played, Team Coast. And there it is. Impaler didn't even have smite, but he knew he was safe.
That's the drawback of swapping up to the top side, but it's something that teams have always given up, knowing this and going for that lane swap. Let's see if they do come down. They're going to walk right through that ward here. Thresh going to roam over towards that mid lane.
Nothing grabbed just yet, but yeah, this could be the gank attempt. Ahri is pretty far down, and the wards have expired. They timed his trinket pretty nicely on this one. He's got no vision for the next 45 seconds or so. Now, can they make the play?
Well, look at his positioning. His trinket wore out. You knew all along that he was going to play cautiously. He had it in his mind. That's why he warded up there in the first place. And Jez is playing this one safe. Hovers on the bottom side. Nothing gained for Curse Academy.
All right, so whatever. Actually, kind of that same trio from Team Coast, it's kind of the same thing on the other side of the map. They just kind of chilled by the bot lane. Realized that there was no one coming in to soak up the experience. They saw Mash was about to push that wave in. Said if someone shows up for this turret, we'll dive him. No one showed. They recalled back. Looks like they're going to go back to the old lanes, and Chris will finally get in lane for the first time this game.
All right, let's see here. We talked a lot about the early ganking pressure of the junglers. Both of them level 3 now, definitely able to make moves. Now they're just cuddled up here with the support, and everybody's going top side, but they've pinged out the ward already. Saint coming in for backup.
And the first sweepers have actually already come in there. Impaler, I believe, yeah, that was off of the Razorbeak smite. Got to get the easy, quick clear on that ward. Of course, the rest of the team still got seen, I believe. And Coast saying, well, you know, there's a chance we could win this one. Ezreal coming in as well, so 4 members topside for Coast.
And they've got to be a little cautious after that ward got cleared out. They know that something's up there and just cleared it. So Cop and Bunny Fufu keeping the wave pushing against them. Just going to let it go into the turret. Can she make a play, though?
Ooh, good flash away. All right, well, Trader Summoner Spells top lane now able to be pushed on. Yeah, get a little bit of damage done there, but of course now bot lane completely vacant. No one's there. Haunter finally walking his way over, but this is actually going to allow Chris to tele up and match him if they want to fight that matchup after all.
Well, Chris definitely needs to get that large bunch of experience at that turret, because here he's currently down 2-4 versus Haunter in levels, and that would be a lot more difficult for him. St. Vish, as you can see, he's already looking to pressure. Maybe they want to make something happen before he can get to a more healthy situation here. Saint on the bottom side, hovering around.
Yeah, getting a dive onto Chris maybe can't happen. They're a little bit low on level. We'll have to see if they choose to do it or not. Jess is still kind of fighting equal. At this point, though, since they have vision on the Curse Academy support there, Bunny Fufu in the top lane, Jess is going to be able to play a little bit more confidently. He's actually already winning his matchup by 13 minions.
Yep, that's going to be a pretty good thing here for Coast if they can get Jez's roaming around to try and create some plays. Because the other thing about Lissandra is she's great at setting up ganks.
Oh my gosh, it's brutal, and we're going to see then if this is going to happen here. Chris has caught up to level 4 now. He got a big wave for himself when he teleported down just a minute ago. And he is so far just holding equal to Haunter there. equal CS as well. Just catching that one big wave was all he needed.
Yeah, I really thought Saint was going to come do something, but it is fairly dangerous this early on. Even though she's not level 6 and can't go immune, she does have that very large
The root? Or the claw?
Ability to traverse terrain.
Yeah,
Let's go with that.
Traverse, I like it. No, that's kind of the right call on this one. So yeah, no hectic dive. I really thought, yeah, like it was attacks played by Team Coast to go for the dragon. You know, they got time out of lane, Chris didn't get XP, Sheep didn't go for a gank attempt, but all it took was just to play safe, to not get ganked by the support realm, and Chris with one teleport got himself back in, so well played in the lane swap. Impaler defensive pink ward down is going to keep him safe. St. Vicious not going to lose one to the enemy support, and he's level 5.
Closing in towards that level 6. Now, even when he does get level 6, none of these lanes are really easy for Pantheon to go and just pop off a man drop and get a tank on. Everybody's got a way to escape it, so he has to be a bit more careful and probably save it for more of a skirmish or team fight oriented time in the game.
Have you played a Pantheon into a Soraka yet? Where she just puts the silence on your man drop?
I've played a lot of things into Soraka, and she's pretty much annoying for everybody. The silence is so big. Everybody hates laying against her and the heals and the constant regeneration of health, but the silence is definitely key to her kit.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well so far. I've seen people stop the Lee Sin knockbacks as well. He jumps in, just can't ward hop away or anything. So.
Oh man, this ward that Hanser put, you know, when we thought they might be diving Chris, is actually on the top side of the little blue camp brush, and so the pink ward that Impaler put doesn't see it. It's just outside of the range. Wow. So a really nice placement there from Hanser, because a lot of junglers will defensively ward their side of the jungle after a lane swap with pink wards, because it's pretty much common knowledge that they're going to leave around wards behind. But a really interesting placement there. Gets them a couple extra minutes of knowledge.
That's a really, really smart play. I never thought to put it there, but hey, really good choice. Kian is going to root the pink ward away. It just went down, in fact, so pretty much 100 gold gone from Jess for that one. Impaler back around. Could go for the Scud Alert. Now, of course, this is coming back up in 15 seconds. The first dragon, dragon was claimed very early on. Coast will pick this one up. Ooh! Funny if almost stole it, but now it's vision for Team Coast.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty big priority, and it's all about the timing of taking these scuttlers. Right before the dragon, if there's a fight, the speed boost provides a huge advantage.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then just that vision that you're going to want to have around it. St. Vicious, as we said on Pantheon, would be looking for a team fight oriented time to use his ultimate, and that would be it if everyone was grouped up in dragon.
Grouped up on Dragon, level 6 now for both top laners. Some good early poke out by Hanser. Chris very low, but Hanser without mana means both might have to recall if they want to do much in a team fight if Dragon were to start. Has respawned, of course, stat bonus to Team Coast for having that buff. Means more for someone like Mash than it does for someone like Jess's, though.
Chris gonna recall right now and fill up. This may be them looking to make a move. Both mid laners with the blue buffs and ready to go. But he heads right back to lane. And there are plenty of defensive pink wards up here for Chris Academy right now. So the invades for either side are very difficult. Such an even game right now. This is ridiculous. Almost 11 minutes in. And pretty much dead even, save for that early small gold trade for the dragon buff.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, we had like the one big aggressive move for the flash rocket grab from Sheep, but that wasn't quite enough. Flash by Bunny, just nice and safe, and we're back in a 2-on-2 lane. So now we're going to see if this matchup tilts in any way. The big thing, though, is it's a Tear of the Goddess for Ezreal versus a BF Sword for Cobb. So there's a gigantic damage disparity in this dueling.
That is going to be painful. And now you can see why they're playing so far back here. Ezreal is just trying to poke, charge that tier up. I'm interested to see if he actually goes into Trinity Force or does go full blue build here. As we've seen Faker in the mid, didn't like to go for the extra damage rather than the slow effect.
I tend to see when it's a double AD comp, you both go Triforce because you want that power spike. In fact, what I really liked, who he did it, is he started Longsword to make sure that because he was going to buy tier as well, he could get the Triforce early enough. He didn't want to drop the 400 gold in a Doran's Blade and let his power spike come in sooner.
I pretty much like Triforce over the gauntlets in most scenarios now, actually, just because mid-game is so important. And any Triforce champions that you have can give you a whole bunch of room to work with for these mid-game dragons.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like really weird considerations. It's like, what can you kite around with the Iceborne Gauntlet? And also, is the armor valuable? He is facing an AD jungle and AD mid, both of whom want to target him. So there's like some extra reason to go Iceborne.
It's true.
Even if you weren't going to in the first place. And again, it's just going to be up to what the player decides to do.
He's got the blue skin, so maybe that's a tip-off.
That's true. It's Frosted Ezreal. So, we'll have to see what this one ends up being. Sheep chilling with a regular skin. Doesn't support Riot in the tournament realm. How unfortunate.
I like this too. The one early move from the junglers is only a move when he knows there's no vision from Curse Academy and they're going through a pink ward into a lane gank here. It's the only aggressive move that we've seen from either jungler so far. And just because everyone's playing so passively, it's not going to work out. But that was one where they were sure that his movements were not seen.
It's just very strange to go for it, because again, they're at such an item disparity in the bot lane. If there is a counter gank, they'd lose the fight. The big risk, of course, nothing happened to him. He didn't get seen going in, didn't end up ganking in the first place.
Yeah, even with the BF sword here, there's no bullying. Everybody's just playing extremely safe, Ezreal CSing from afar. Deathfire has been completed onto Ahri, though, so that is a big point for them. Pointed out the early roaming. Jez is pretty much just in lane, but he does have that kill pressure. It's all about landing one charm and bursting him down.
Looks like it will be Trinity Force, by the way. Another longsword picked up after Manamune for Mash here on Ezreal. First jungle enchant actually came out for St. Vicious as well, so he's got a small lead over Impaler as far as combat stats go. So some of these power spikes have come in fairly unevenly across the game.
As you say that, like 2 seconds later.
Well, he had it first. Now we're back to square one, but hey, Saint's got less potions. That's the difference in items here. It'd be a close fight if those two battle.
All right, what would the move be here then? Because both top laners are pretty even and they both have teleport as well. This is such a stalemate. Everybody's moving down to Dragon. They've sort of been able to creep vision inside Curse Academy's side of the jungle here, but it's still really lacking. And they're still, Curse Academy are still the ones with Pantheon, so grouping up is very dangerous.
Ooh, Chris actually misses his jump back because of a great knockup by Hanser. And look at that, Hanser knocks him down to 1/3 health. This match is starting to win for Curse Academy. This is their edge.
Yeah, you can see there's no, everybody was grouped up around Dragon there for Coast, but they decided not to go for it. Oh, Saint gets invaded.
Nice play by Sheep. Saint forced a flash away. Now he is screwed. That is a kill being picked up by the Blitzcrank of Sheep. He gets a red buff.
So all it takes is that one little line of wards. They moved it up just barely past the river and take the opportunity to invade. Instant kill onto Saint, and that could be the second Dragon teleport coming in.
Oh, they're going to have to match with Chris. Chris does TP a little bit late, and okay, here we go. Hanser is in on this one in front of Dragon, but there's no jungler here. This would be an easy smite there for Impaler. Buddy Fufu with the hook and the lantern, get him out, but the ulti comes in. Hanser's going to go down. 1-for-0 in this fight, but in the back line, in comes Zed. Keen forcing the flash away by Impaler. Sheep drops as well, traded back by Ezreal. Buddy Fufu, nice move on the ball, but Mash is about to die. Can Cop get the kill? Yes.
Ooh.
Dodges the charm as well, and Jesses, can he win the fight? Yes, he sure can. And that is a whole bunch of kills.
Saint still has his ultimate too, if he can get a little bit closer. Okay, so that was the 4vs5. It was a great move by Coast to go out of the Dragon Pit and leave Hanser in there by himself. So the main tank is just taking a bunch of damage from Dragon early on. And it really gives them the edge in this fight. So Hanser here takes a Dragon shot. He's stuck inside. Cop tries to lay down some cover fire for Bunny Fufu to let him out, but he gets caught by Chris. And they go all in, bursting down the tank. Keen comes in to clean it up though. And watch the dodges that Cop tries to use here for Jez's. He's expecting this charm. So flash right there, expecting a charm. And then another dash for the second one. And he actually does dodge the charm. But still, Impaler is able to come in to clean it up.
Some beautiful stuff there. That fight ended up being 3-for-3 overall, but a catch again onto Sheep. He's got no health there. Gets a knock with the AD carry. In comes Jarvan. Sheep survives. Wanted to hook someone in just to try to trade 1-for-1.
Wow, great job not overextending there. I thought they were going to go too deep. Oh, and Cop still doing work as the pause comes in. This is 2 versus 4 currently right now. Cop and Buddy Fufu, and they're wrecking people down bottom. They've already chunked out Blitzcrank. There's still 3 more people, though, at full life. Chucking down Chris now, again to 50% HP. There's still no backup unless Saint decides to get in a range to ult, though.
Yeah, and that was interesting. Chris actually had, kind of stopped for a second or two, and I know, again...
Might have been the pause.
Yeah, that might have been the reason for the pause. Again, Coast told me that also Impaler not feeling well, they might have to go for random pause. Maybe Chris is the one who typed pause, and that's why he got caught. Again, we'll speculate about it later. We can talk to him afterwards. Otherwise, again, very, very close game. 3-4 in kills, 500 gold difference. And that prior Dragon, I don't believe even went down yet. So it's just still the one Dragon at 0, so no extra buffs in this one. Again, a very, very close game. We knew this series was going to be super close. You're seeing playmakers on both sides. I kind of want to give the edge to the team that picked Thresh, because I just feel like there's so much playmaking available there, and there's just so much you can do with that champion that I am a little bit concerned for Coast in the mid-game.
Sheep made plays already. He started out with the red buff steal, and then he forced a couple flashes.
I guess I'm underselling Blitzcrank here. I have to give that champion respect, but I just like, it's hard for me to like change my perception of like it's the Thresh hype match, and then like the other hook champion comes in like, I don't care about you. Thresh is the new king.
No love for Sheep on the Blitzcrank.
Sorry.
It's been working out pretty well for us. Right now, though, like we said, he just got chunked out of this fight. So there's currently a health lead on the map for Curse Academy. We'll see what they can actually do with it, though. As are the rules in LCS, obviously no talking during this, so they're just going to have to figure out what is the best move, because they can take a look around the map at least.
Yeah, they can figure out what all is going on here in this one. It looks like I'm looking down here. It looks like blue buff had just been grabbed by Curse Academy, so Keen kind of on the left side of the map there. Both top laners without teleports available, and Hanser's isolated way up there. He walked back to top lane here, so there's a chance that Hanser can't be a part of whatever fight ends up happening.
Yeah, there's no way, because they both use teleports for that early dragon, so looks like they will be stuck without him.
Of course, Chris, though, at like 20 health at this point after getting hooked, I mean, that's going to be him out of the fight kind of for the similar reason. So, yeah, we kind of have to see. Again, there's a lot to speculate about as the fight kind of moves on from here.
Finally, the action.
Yeah. Going to see what happens. Yeah, it's true, because people getting hooked back and forth now and things going on. So kind of thinking about what these teams are trying to do, of course, a lot of sort of pick potential by Team Coast, right? The Jarvan engages, the Ahri catches, the Lissandra catches, and I guess Blitzcrank catches as well, and the match is like, well, you guys dive in, I'm just super safe, I'm Ezreal, like no big deal. What I actually like about Ezreal, I feel like this is undersold about the champion, is he has a long-range high-burst ultimate. Like, Ezreal gets to help pick people off more than most other AD carries.
Yeah, not only that, but he can also use his Arcane Shift forward, right, and go to finish people off. So all of the people here on Coast can follow up on any sort of pick that's made.
Yeah.
If Blitzcrank gets a pull, everybody can jump on that person, right?
And I think it's just like a little bit harder for Curse Academy there. I feel like some of it has to be a little bit more set up. That said, they have better hard engage. They have the St. Vicious ults right behind the enemy team, and they're either run into a Pantheon and get stunned, or they run back into the team.
Maokai.
And yeah, run into a Maokai, right. So unfortunately, Hanser did go for Rod of Ages. He didn't go for the Righteous Glory.
Unfortunately.
Well,
you really like that Wicked build. I became a fan by the end of it, because you get really tanky really quick with it.
Yeah, and you have just really good ways of starting things. I do like that a bunch of sort of strategic value items got introduced to the game that say, okay, shoot, we didn't pick very well. Well, we'll itemize around it. Like, there's ways to like kind of save yourself from a mistake, or just accentuate a well-planned strat from Champs like in the first place.
And Righteous Glory would be perfect for pulling off one of those pincer movements where you have the Pantheon ult and you're trying to squeeze them in between.
I'm trying to think of like the time run when the slow explosion comes in. You could probably do it with like, okay, he's going to man drop, we're going to put the buff on him, and he's going to land with an extra slow. I don't know if it's good or not. I just said you could do it.
It's possible.
It is possible. Good. That's all I really cared about here in this one. And also, yeah, you got to keep in mind, like, Keen's got his great split push power coming in. I do hear the pause will be done fairly soon, so we'll have the game again in a second. But yeah, we were talking about how good Zed split pushes were as well, and honestly, I feel like that's been pretty successful, and I think it will be as well. Keen's been a very good performer for Curse Academy overall.
Yeah, he's got the Blade and the Brutalizer already. Okay, pause goes down, and Chris is done. So that answers that. No time to get his ult out, or his ult was on cooldown. Tough break there.
Well, I'm going to see that Coast are still fairly safe. Again, Hanser was on the wrong side of the map, so it's a 4v4 anyway, and nothing really picked up for that kill.
Like we said, that was literally 2v4. Bunny and Cop just chunked Blitz and got a kill on the top laner. So huge amount of power down here coming from that Curse Academy bottom lane. And we talked about that early BF sword and Lucian, that early flat attack damage advantage he was going to have in that bottom lane. It finally comes to fruition.
That's the value of having a kind of easier ramp-up type build, is he's got about 75 attack damage worth of items, not counting his Doran's Blade, whereas Smash is still scaling up. This feels like a team comp where Coast kind of wants to wait around a little bit more. They've got some playmaking, they've got ways to do things early on, but Smash is going to be behind Cop for a while.
And there definitely is a lot more attention paid down bottom. The fight over Vision down here is pretty intense. Both guys trying to return to the bottom lane around this dragon that still has not been taken. And the fight over the crab is that much more important because the wards are constantly going down.
Yeah, these players have done a really good job of sweeping wards away in general. Both of them now running 4 sweepers at this point. And actually, it's one of the ways I would track Dragon progress if I wasn't like pressing tab a whole bunch. It's like, how far into the game are we? Okay, 30 minutes. It's probably dragon number 4. But with the lane swap, like first dragon came in at 3 minutes. Now it's like, all right, accelerated dragon pace. Dragon 5 is going to be at like 26 minutes. And then, well, this next one like took 10 minutes to take down.
As you say that, pretty much everybody on coast around it, and once again, Haunter top lane, no teleport, so this would be 4 vs 5 if there was a fight at all.
Wow, and look at that, Chris had been sent to the mid lane, so dragon number 2 goes over to coast, and Impaler spending that right on time.
So all that investment in ward coverage does pay off once again for coast. Not able to create another play on bottom, but dragon stacking up slowly but surely for Team Coast.
Yep. It's going to give him minion damage here in 4.20, and it's not 421, so it's not turret damage, it's minion damage, which makes Chris a really, really good wave clear champion, and St. Vish is caught again!
Oop, he's going to go down. So, yep. Pantheon, especially going the damage jungle early item here, pretty easy for teams that pick off like this. The double AP teams that we've been seeing a lot more of, especially with Lissandra, it makes it really scary for these damage-heavy junglers. If you misposition it at all, they can punish you very, very quickly. First time, it did cost them control of Dragon. This time, it's just going to be a kill, though.
Alright, so just the 1 for nothing. Not too bad. Otherwise, Chris forced to run all the way to top lane, clear away a wave that Haunter was pushing in. He's going to pretty much come close to equal again in golden XP on this one. Coast, though, still behind in gold overall just because of some various farm leads, jungle and top lane especially. Actually, AD carry massively, 30 minutes there. And
plus
now 2 turrets to 0.
Turrets, yeah.
Yeah, Chris got to be choosing different objectives and getting gold for it.
Yeah, so the early gold lead translated into items can translate then into mid-game dragons. Really, if you give up the dragons early, it's not as big of an effect because the bonus it gives you is percentage, and then dragons itself take a while to stack up. So if you use the early gold from the turrets that you took to control the mid-game dragons and get yourself back in, as long as you don't continue to give them up, then it's definitely a very, very strong strat.
And so far, so good. Curse Academy, plenty of gold in their pockets for this one, and we're going to see if the stats of Team Coast can handle that one. Jess has already hit his first item spike. He's got the Sork Shoes now as well. Looks like he's looking towards the Zonias to not die to Keen. That's my guess off the M-Tome. But the Zed is honestly pretty big. He's got 2 core items done already.
Yeah, the double blades completed is the really big spike for Zed, and his assassination potential is extremely high. So now, you know, you do have to worry about the Curse Academy picks just as much as you have to worry about these double AP ones that are going to blow somebody up. That's why constantly they are fighting over the ward coverage. The other thing is that, oh!
Nice hook, nice knockup. Bunny Fufu flashes, but it's too late. Dies anyway. Loss of flash, loss of a champion. Nice job, Coast.
There's your blitz plays, and here goes Chris.
Flash from Lissandra, the root as well. Cop just flashes as well, but still goes down. Nice root by Haunter, though. Jess in a really bad spot. Flash the way, does stay safe. Nice hook onto the Maokai. Haunter, he picked the right skin, but he's taking some damage here. Now here comes Pantheon. Jess's will go down.
Nice ultimate there from Saint to actually time that one correctly. It's kind of hard to position those. Sheep did his best to save him.
Oh my gosh, another 2-man root. They go for Saint, hooked on after the knockup. Here comes Zed, though. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Saint and Impaler both going to drop for this one. Out goes Zed. But on Haunter, he's going to run away. And actually, it's Iceborne. He got a long sword but went Iceborne anyway. Haunter now heavily slowed. He's got to be careful in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for him to get out, so he just goes back in to try and get a kill here. Keen returns.
Goes in, nearly gets Chris down. The flash going to keep him safe there, trading his root for that one. It's a free flag.
Whew. What an exciting turn of events here. And Blitzcrank, I have to say, play after play after play right there from Sheep. Almost able to save his teammates even. You think of Blitzcrank as the more offensive of the 2 champions with hooks, but he was almost able to pull everyone away from Jez's.
Yep. Making me a believer. I'm sorry for doubting you, Sheep. The Blitzcrank pick worked
under
great.
Pressure, though. All right.
It's all right. So, Coast squeaked up a +1 kill from before. They were up 1 kill before, now they're up 2. Blue buff steal not going to happen there. And Keen's going to miss out on 40 gold for that, but whatever. Midlane still under fire. Cop's got that Infinity Edge. Of course, Shiv not far away either. But they're just not really looking to push too hard right now. It's fairly safe for everybody. And Impaler going to be able to grab this blue buff without much issue either.
The big thing, though, I think now is that the teleports are still desynced. So once again, Chris now has the actual advantage for split pushing with the Lissandra. He can go shove waves really quickly, and then as we've already seen, you know, he can create plays for the rest of the team. If he can teleport in, if you get any sort of deep wards here as Team Coast, and have a Lissandra teleporting in from the backside, you can immediately jump on whatever target Chris locks down for the kill.
Yeah, and that's going to be all kinds of dangers for Curse Academy. They've got to give so much respect here, but they're kind of pulling the team apart. They're saying, look, one of you can engage, but if you don't have the follow-up, the champion won't go down. And Keen actually splitting the team up by split pushing in this bottom lane. It's Sheep right now, probably not the best defender, but someone will be there eventually, I assume.
It's scary enough, I guess. Zed has to back off. I think that Saint's also going to save his ultimate for re-engages. He's not going to be the primary engagement for Curse Academy, so they'll probably use it as a reactionary Pantheon ultimate for whenever Coast do go for a pick, and then try and jump on wherever they decide to engage.
That'll be interesting. I want to see if Saint does go for that one. It wouldn't be my first guess, but Kobe, I trust you.
We have a connection, the old guard.
The ex-CLG jungle play. Well, Sapling's going to spot things out. Hanser and co do walk through a ward in the meantime. Dragon back up in 24 seconds. Looks like Coast yet again did grab the Scuttler.
They've been
extra vision.
maintaining that crab control really well.
Yeah, very good by Impaler.
Especially on the bottom side here for the Dragons.
Yeah, Baron only spawned 4 minutes ago, so he didn't really need to control that very much. Top laners tend to be ignored as well. 6 to 8 kills, Team Coast. Not yet in position. They've got vision, but no champions really here.
So, Curse Academy going to want to try and at least force the teleport cooldown quickly here, because Chris is gaining a lot of ground. The top turret already going down, and they needed that bunch of global gold too. So much global gold in these outer turrets left standing for Coast just to pick up and get back to even. If they can even out that gold lead, the extra dragon advantage is definitely going to pay dividends later in the game.
Yeah, but still, no one really answering this Lysandra up there, so Chris getting a whole lot of damage down. The extra minion damage she gets from the dragon buffs helping with this one. Minions cleared in the bot lane, nothing done. Look at this, Chris got 2 turrets for nothing.
And they still have yet to start the dragon. Oh, but he gets
But they get a
in.
hook, 4v5, they get the kill for it. Sheep blocks the culling, dragon still being attacked. In came Chris, slows 2 down. Keen is there though, and Chris in a bad spot, jumps away with the claw. There comes Zed though, looks for what he can, but Keen's still gonna go down 2 for 1 now. And this one, Saint gonna get pulled in. Down he goes 3 for 1. Beautiful fight for Team Coast. Now Cobb's in a bad spot, he gets arrested. And double kill for Jesses.
Sheep is a monster. Oh, they got, well, 1.5 turrets. That secondary turret up top is almost going down. And he gets the pick just in time. Beautiful teleport in means they also are going to get the dragon after this. Team Coast now definitely jumping out to a pretty good lead. That would be their 3rd dragon, as well as now the gold lead on top. Another flash hook from Sheep, instantly killed, and then Chris teleports in as soon as he's in danger, ults himself, and buys time. I thought the dragon was going to turn around and finish him off, but it doesn't get the attack off in time, and Impaler going down instead does not cost them. Another hook to clean up the kill and earn them the dragon.
Hanser himself just barely limped away with any health left, so beautiful stuff there. Team Coast looking pretty happy now. They've got a gold lead on top of 3 dragons over their opponents, so really good game here for them.
Yes, by all measurements, Coast are winning the game now.
Paler does find that ward in time. Oh, there he goes. Brings that one down. I really do like getting the Razorbeak Smite later on in the game. It's just like, it also lets you know if you're running through a ward in the first place. Even a pink ward, it pops up as well, to my knowledge.
Yeah, even not even just later on, but even early game.
Oh yeah.
Even on your first gank, a lot of people save their second smite just to go for Razorbeaks before going for your gank, just because the early ganks are so important and you really cannot afford to get counter ganked that early on because they're squishy. Mid turret does go down though, more global gold, and here goes Saint. It is actually the initiate.
He wants to jump on in, but Impaler puts himself in there, trades 1-for-1 support for Jungler, and the battle has begun. Jess is forced to back out. Curse Academy on the chase. Cop loses a lot of health for 1 Mystic Shot, though. Hanser slowed down as well. Chris on the wrong side of this fight. He's still coming down.
That's the danger with going in as the point man with the Pantheon who's a little bit behind here. Gets blown up really quickly, and it's the re-engage from Coast.
All right, flash loss for the Cataclysm, but Coast now have positional advantage on the mid lane if they go for it. Top lane also has got a wave coming down. They can push for this, maybe the blue buff as well.
Yeah, remember that top turret's so low. Should be able to clean up that extra chunk of change. Oh, they take the blue instead.
Looks like they are not going to push this turret down. They're worried about getting split pushed on. Keen's actually going to grab this blue buff there. They saw him with the pink ward, but he'll get that. Looks like without contest, and no top lane turret going to go down. Just afraid of blues for that.
Interesting. It doesn't look like Coast are too afraid of the Zed split push because Ari actually opted for the Rylai's instead of trying to create an early Zhonya's. And Ezreal actually has a decent time. Blue Ezreal should be able to kite Zed fairly efficiently.
Should be decent. Last Whisper being done as well is going to give him crazy poke on top of that, so he's got a bunch of different ways that he can fight efficiently here.
Chris has his Zanyas though, so he's got plenty of tools to deal with Keen. Let's see if he can actually make it happen.
And max CDR build, misses the Q, but hey, some root ults it as well, so Keen's going to try to get away from this one, pops the ulti, there's Zhonya's. It's actually a little bit late, the death mark is on him. Doesn't mean too much damage though. Chris going back in, Keen's got to be real careful.
So does Chris though.
That's true, they both back out.
Used all of his defensives. Lissandra really relies on cooldowns. She's still extremely squishy if you get past the invulnerabilities. So Keen does get out alive. Drew some extra attention from the team and bought a little bit more time for Curse Academy to try and farm up on the other side of the map. You can see top lane now pushing for them. Mid lane though under pressure.
Yeah, so we're going to see if Chris or someone can come back to that lane in time. Looks like that will be Chris heading over to that side. Jess is on top of a ward. Sheep's going to find it for him, though. And out that goes. Okay. So Coast slowly and slowly getting under more and more control. Next dragon will be dragon number 4. So they're 10 minutes away from crazy dragon buff if they want that to be their win condition here.
5 dragons is pretty much the most surefire way to win games on the preseason.
I like to kill the Nexus.
Well, I guess that's number 1.
Number 2 is Dragon number 5. Although, it didn't work for Fusion in Game 1, though. There's actually a comeback despite Dragon number 5 in our first series of the day. If you guys missed that series, by the way, you really should.
Yeah, how many times have you ever gotten 5 dragons and not won the game? It hasn't actually happened to me.
I don't think I've been a part of a game like that myself, but I might have just lost track.
It can be done, though.
Of course you can. We've seen it. Here we go. Coast going to move on in. Mid tier 2, the target Chris does have teleport. Hanser does not, so again, Coast able to be the aggressive team with a teleport lead as well. Keen is going to split push to the right-hand side, uninhibited.
So there are 3 lockets of the Iron Solari on Curse Academy. All right, Keen's gonna be in trouble here right now, but that is really, really odd. Even 2 is a little bit questionable because they do not stack, and you get that reduced effect.
Yeah.
So 3 of them is a little bit overkill.
That's
a lot. That's just a lot overkill.
Let's
just go ahead and say it.
Yeah, 2 is a little bit overkill because at that point you
lot.
might as well buy yourself a. We were talking about it a second ago. Banner of Command honestly would be decent for your second one. There we go. Battle of the battle there. Nice ulti gonna block the hook. Chris gonna stay alive a bit longer. Here comes the team though, and Pantheon St. Vicious gets the kill, and now Sheep's a bit alone. The rest of Curse Academy coming in to help. 2 for 0. Nice play.
Keen and Saint with the outplays here. Does give them control, but 47 seconds on the new dragon. The respawn timer's not going to be long enough for them to retain control of the area. It's just a couple of kills picked up, and actually Hanser gets picked.
Wow, big amount of damage onto him. The root's not going to be enough. He's going to go right in there. Gets picked off, though. 1 for 0 for Team Coast. Impaler, though, on the wrong side of this fight. Cop doing plenty of damage there. Dashes on in. St. Vicious to secure the kill with the long-range spear toss.
So they end up trading another 1-for-1, and that is actually the jungler down, and he will remain down for the next dragon. So that series of events actually will give them control of the dragon. Saint looking to take it. Pantheon, as always, can just take 0 damage from dragon, stacking up passive. Keen gonna run interference.
Yeah, and 10 seconds later, they have a teleport available for Hanser, so when he revives, he can join the fight. Coast are gonna, if they fight this, it's a 4v5.
Yep, very dangerous for Team Coast to stick around here.
Bundy's not around, though. They can risk the smite battle.
Here comes the teleport.
All right, Hanser, who does he block off there? Ezreal far away, low on mana, though. Dragon down to 2,000 health. St. Vicious, can he win the smite here? Hanser gonna help him out.
Versus nobody?
Nobody. And he loses to Cop. Didn't smite it, actually. Take that back. He's saving it in case there's another objective coming in.
Wise choice, actually. Smite is a very, very precious resource, especially this late in the game. The answer from Coast, though, I like it. They don't waste any time. Swinging straight over to mid here, and that's just the first dragon for Curse Academy. So an extra secondary target taken for Coast. See if they can get 2.
Oh, nice. Impaler burns his smite to get the extra little wolf spirit down there to help watch for flanks. I like that one a lot as well. Anytime you push a lane over there, but in comes Pantheon. This could be a battle. Teammates are around. Nothing to find.
Look at this. The pick waiting to happen. Hanser.
Ooh. He knew they were there. You could see the ward come down. Juked it pretty nicely. Scuttler goes down. Coast have vision over Baron. Okay, so these guys have been going back and forth. Coast felt like they were in control for what I thought was a large percentage of this game. But Curse Academy have played so well with a deficit. They're still down kills, they're still down dragons, and yet they're still finding ways to take really good fights, to clean up battles, to find these picks that I thought Coast was going to get more of.
And this is that mid game, you know, where you really have to worry about it. Even if you do have the lead, you have to be very cautious about how you do control mid game vision so that you don't give away those picks, especially to a team like this.
Teleport from Chris, not going to find anything. Puts the claw down. He could flash ult Hanser, but probably not worth it.
Sheep's got his flash. Anytime we've seen Sheep with his flash up on this Blitzcrank,
flash Q on
plays
cooldown
will be made.
And he makes those plays without flash as well. Just been really great this game so far.
Yeah.
Blue buff going pretty safely to Ahri. Split push Zed just getting more and more farm. 301 minion kills, highest in the game. Big threat, this Zed.
Yep, that last Whisper coming in. And he's working on Guardian Angel, it looks like, too. So he will be dedicated split pusher.
And he's made slow and steady progress. This bot tier 2 has taken a little bit of damage, but not too much overall. It does still stand right now. Coast back again in defensive duty. And the thing is, I feel like the landscape of this game changed a little bit now. Coast felt like they were very aggressive, kind of for 20 minutes on repeat. Aggressively controlling vision control. Okay, there's a move from Impaler, burns a flash, but now he is without a combat ultimate. So they maybe have to wait again for that to come back up and maybe find a window when the flash is still down.
Yeah,
but
let's
Coast
see.
being so spread out, they're not able to do too much.
I mean, they've gotten some deep wards down here on the red side, Jungle, but really what can you get about that? It's going to be a while for the next dragon. I get this, they can get the outer turret, but really they give up. Baron, they've all been alerted. Whoopsies, we left one area dark here on the map, and they should be able to get there. No,
they're not looking for this one.
Keen keeps them interested, and Curse Academy going to get a Baron.
Absolutely great play. So bot lane turret goes down anyway. Keen doesn't really care. Impaler's like, guys.
All the steal? He's there in time.
He's there. Can he get it? Yes, he does! Impaler wins the Smite Ward. No one's surprised at all. Keen Coast pick up Baron.
Oh, no. That's just... All right, let's see what else they can get.
Pantheon dropping not quite the right direction, though. Coast still able to retreat away from this one. Scrying Orb sees him. But Coast back out. Baron for 1 kill.
Man, you really just got to feel bad for him. You know he's going to get so much flack for that.
Oh, my gosh. The thread's already #1 on Reddit right now. It's actually already happened.
I feel his pain, though. That was rough. Jarvan does have the first on hit is going to do a bunch of extra max health damage to Baron, so...
Yeah.
Pantheon has an auto crit,
There's reasons why, yeah.
That was pretty much just really good play from Impaler. Going in there, fearless, 1 versus 3, does get the steal off before he goes down. So you got to give you got to give credit to Impaler in here.
There was no vision. He flag tossed at like the exact right time, like it happened to be at 2,000 health, and was like, all right, going for it.
And people kept hitting the Baron too.
Yeah, you can wait out the E cooldown, at least make him flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. There's actually ways to do silly things with that one, but
all right.
well,
so that's in the past. We'll move on from there. Now it's Baron over to Coast, and that definitely will give them the upper hand here because that one sneaky move. I thought that was going to get, Curse Academy back in here. Let's take another look at. So you see the flag come down. They're still hitting Baron, and he jumps in, and they're still hitting Baron. And Saint never gets his smite off. He never got it off. Yeah. Rough play. That plus the Optimus. Ooh, now he's going to get picked.
Ooh, that charm hit, but he's not in vision, so he walks the other direction, basically. Saint, the ult comes in. There's the Q. The Locket Shield keeps him alive. Where's the other Locket Shield? Hanser's not there. He's going to finally go down.
Yeah, those Lockets. We return to the Lockets once again.
Hey, they used so
you see what their idea was. Like, oh my god, there's so much AP here, and we're facing an Ezreal who's going tier first, so there's going to be very little attack damage. So we're like, great, you know what would be the best item for this situation?
Locket.
Locket, and you're correct. Locket is the best item for this situation, looking at this team. However, 3 Lockets is not better.
Yep. We should enforce deck limits, like in TCGs. Like, you can't have more than 2 Lockets on a team.
No, because it opens up opportunities like this. Maybe it is a good strategy, and we just don't know.
All right, well, Ghost going to back off after a tier 2 turret kill. They've actually now knocked down all 6 turrets outside of Curse Academy's base. They're still wearing Baron buff for a bit longer, and they've got 10 seconds on this dragon. Now, thanks to the 1 grab by Curse Academy, this will only be dragon number 4. but Team Coast will now get turret damage off this one.
Here they come, right into the bush too.
Oh, goodbye, Bunny. Fufu hopping through the forest, gets bopped on his head. Now comes the battle. Chris gonna pop the Zonies, but here comes Keen doing a whole bunch of damage, and down goes Jesses, but they're fighting back and forth. Sheep gets away, Mash putting out the damage, but does he put out enough as Blue Ezra looks like Curse Academy able to push on through 2 for 1.
2 for 1 pretty big here for Curse Academy. This could be their saving grace. They definitely don't want to give up any more dragons. Mash is ridiculous right now, though. He even has the Essence Reaver, so he can continue to poke forever.
Oh, wow,
Saint should be able to get this
there
one, though.
There we go. Nice pickup by Saint. Vicious Impaler will die. Maybe not, actually. They were all against the wall. Flash in by Cop. He does get the kill. Jumps away as Mashme gets out. 3 for 1. Plus Dragon. Nice job, Curse Academy. Against the Baron buff.
Yeah. All right.
Jeez, trading back
so
and forth.
it goes right back their way. 2 dragons to 3 now, so not that far off here for Curse Academy. And they do have the Maokai, who, by the way, even though a lot of people have become really big fans of that Wicked build, going with the Rod of Ages first, you know, having it stack up already, it's a very efficient item, all fully stacked up. So he's going to be a very massive tank, and that is something that Coast are kind of lacking. Because Impaler didn't go full tank, he did at least go with the Warrior enchantment. Yeah. He definitely cannot tank up as much as Haunter. So in those team fights, having that Maokai to lock down one of these very mobile damage threats from Coast could be a very, very big tool here for Curse Academy.
Honestly, I think it's great. Haunter's sitting probably about 130 ability power with Runes, Masteries, and Dragons all involved here. I mean, he's a real threat there. 124, I was close. And yeah, I mean, he's got just very high damage on abilities now. And this is one of the things about Maokai as well, is all 4 of his active abilities deal damage. So every level he gains, like a lot of champions, they'll like spike at level 13. He spikes at level 18. Like he's still getting sapling damage, he's still getting Q damage down there. And they're all backed by 124 AP, so he's honestly just chunking people.
Too bad. I really wish that was a Spirit Vicious instead of a Locket for him, because then he would be a complete monster.
Gosh, he'd be so hard to kill with that healing.
All right, 4 people here though, from Coast. Constantly having to worry about these picks. The vision coverage has sort of lapsed for them, so it's going to be a bit harder for them to pull those off. Now let's see if there can be a game-changing Pantheon ultimate here from St. Vicious.
They've been pretty good so far at starting fights out that his team eventually wins.
I mean, there's so many ways that, you know, Curse Academy can lock them in place, and if you get hit and you actually stay under the Pantheon ultimate, then that's a surefire way to win the fight. But no Maokai, Twisted Advance able to keep him in place. Saint just scares them off.
Cop lost half his health to a Q, but the problem is he has so much lifesteal that it's not doing much. Sheep's going to look for the hook right here. Chris around the backside. This is the fight that Coast wants. In comes the engage. Keen hooked into the team. He goes right for Jess, who does not have a Zonia, so he goes down. They trade against the Haunter Maokai, and down goes Lysandra. Chris did almost nothing except lock on the back line. Saint's going to go down. Mash still alive. Hook on in. In goes Impaler. He gets the kill on the Cop. But Keen's going to take him back down. Now Bunny Fufu, the target there. Mash hit a ward, unfortunately. Finally gets that one. Triple kill for himself. 4 for 3, Team Coast.
Yeah, and that should be some continued push here from Coast. They still have the AD carry standing. Mash should be able to get some damage here onto the turret. Zed doesn't even want to try and heal. Actually goes out to clear down bottom. There's nothing that he would be able to do here against Ezreal. They're just going to give up the mid turret.
He doesn't stop mid anyway. Wants to stop bottom. Does so successfully. Now can he stop the inhibitor? Maybe if he puts him in a threat. Jumps away from the hook. This is going to be 2 structures killed. Nice job, Coast.
Yeah, he doesn't have his Rune King active, so even the duel would be really difficult. No ultimate either, so gives up the inhibitor and a pin down bottom here. That'd be a dangerous swing. Pretty greedy, actually, if Coast wanted to get more.
Yeah, there's no way they really could successfully there.
All right, so let's take another look, because this was such an even fight. They hook in Keen at the same time that Haunter goes in, though. And Keen for Jez's pretty much 1-for-1 trade at exactly the same time. In the back line, there was another 1-versus-1. Chris and Cop almost go 1-for-1. But then this extra hook here from Bunny extends the fight, and Impaler decides to go extremely deep. So those sort of trade as well. It's just that the AD carry left up in the late game team fights is everything. So Mashme and Coast able to take advantage.
There's a really good Quicksilver Sash pickup there by Cop to keep himself sort of able to do things in that fight. It's the reason he actually won the duel against Lysandra. But yeah, having to deal DPS is pretty important. Hook comes out. Not too much grab. Haunter on the way back here, but Sheep, like he wants something. Has he looks for Ruin as well? Ooh, hooks in St. Vicious, and here we go. half health. Pantheon puts the stuff down. There's the Cataclysm as well. The battle has begun. Jess has to get forced away, but he might still die to Deathmark. No, he will survive it, just barely. On the right side of the fight, St. Vicious is going to go down 2-0 so far. Just not enough damage can quite be dealt. Chris finally falls. Kian will go down, though. On top of that one, Hanser now left alone. He's going to drop, but Kopp has something to say about this one. Can he do the damage? He's trying. He gets 3 of them. Impaler finally turns it back around. Triple kill for the Jarvan. But it's a 5 for 3.
They're deciding between Baron and shoving up now. Looks looks like they're going to have to go try down bottom.
Yeah, there's actually no good minion waves here.
That will be no objectives after that fight. These are just fun team fights to watch.
Rift Scuttler's up. That's actually worthwhile grab for
There's a ping on it. It actually is. Like,
yeah, it's actually the right choice here.
But that's the one in front of Baron. So that's actually a really important Rift Scuttler. He decides to go bottom instead, though. Blitzcrank doesn't go for the crab. Decides to clear top. And he does have that Elixir of Iron as well. So Sheba on the front line does help out with the initiation. If he goes for those flash hooks, the team can actually follow up now.
Yeah, I actually realized, because I bought it for the first time like yesterday because I don't play tanks, it doesn't actually give you any combat stats. It gives you tenacity and slow resist, but
it makes you bigger, so it makes you bigger so you feel more like a tank.
It's like you get hit by more skill shots. It's like, well, sometimes I care about that. Then like a thresh hooks you and you're like, oh, whoops. Shouldn't have bought that.
It's actually one of my favorite items for Vi because it actually makes my Q a little bit longer.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it just whatever your champion model hits is going to get knocked up.
It'll make your R better too.
Yeah.
You not. Dang, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I was Siobhan. I didn't even feel good about it, but it was like the right choice. My R would have worked too. Burnout probably was also better.
All right, here's the crab control, and here's the important dragon. This one is going to be number 4, setting them up for the 5th. Oh, they actually have to run back. Top side here. Baron threat is too much.
Baron for Dragon number 4, probably something I would give to the Baron team here. So, Coast running around. Ezreal is burned for this one, so Mash gonna have to burn some Qs to get that cooldown back soon. He already has his Mercurial Scimitar. No crit on this build though for Mash. His actual sustained DPS is super low, which means like if Kopp isn't just like ripped on by Chris, it's gonna be so much more damage dealt by the solution.
And the way that these teamfights have been going, they're very extended and they've been extremely close here. So it's gonna the kiting of this Ezreal is really going to have to pay off for them. Mash is going to have to live for the entire fight.
I like the Mash with the blue elixir though, because just true damage on hit, like every few seconds, which is actually kind of exactly what Ezreal wants to do, and it's really good turret damage.
Eyes on Baron though here. They did pick up that dragon, so that's number 4. It means that we do have an end in sight here. Mid lane's still down, so it's an easy shove here for Coast. And they've got so much control of the map. They just have to take it slow now. This is the team with a ridiculous pick potential.
Yeah.
And they've got vision control of Baron. It's so hard for Curse Academy facing this situation. This one ward, though, is really going to help them out a lot. Let's see if Coast actually have any more methods of clearing. They do not.
Yeah, there's a ward right there spotting them there. They're going to go for this one anyway. Now, Curse Academy have full vision and full knowledge of this one. And nothing will be gained.
Yep, they have to pull right back off. So Curse Academy able to shove out these super minions here. Really important. Every wave of super minions that they can clear out at this point, definitely very important. Can buy them some time. And they get a turret.
Red buff for mid lane tier 2 turret. Curse Academy actually have to be a little bit careful there. They respect the sheep hook, and that turret will not quite fall, I believe. Ezreal sent to the bottom lane to clear another minion wave out, and it's going to create a bot lane push, a slow push now coming for the Coast minions.
Good 2-for-1 clear right there. They were also able to get 1 extra ward here on the back side of Baron. So even though they've only fit a couple wards in around the Baron, they're very important ones. One in the river did time out though.
Yeah, problem is there's so much vision sort of denial required by Team Coast. Like so much vision around there. They got the Scuttler, but that was it. And I mean, this is a team that's supposed to be ahead. Like, I feel like Curse Academy's mission is like, all right, hold on for a while. Like, go back to the split push, we'll be fine. Whereas Coast, like, I feel like they're supposed to be the active team.
They had the inhibitor down mid, so yes.
Right. And then kind of nothing happened for it. Another Ezreal burned once again for bot lane. Mash doesn't need the gold, though, so it's just kind of, he's trying to get the minion waves to the right spot, but nothing else is really being done here.
It should be pushing now. I think, yeah, they've got 2 extra minions, so the bottom will be building up slowly to push in their favor. We'll see if they actually try and take that opportunity to go mid or actually control the blue side jungle. I feel like this particular team controlling the vision around Baron and that blue side jungle would be the optimal path for them. Just because they have so much burst, if they pick somebody off, it would be huge.
And here's the interesting thing as well is finally Jess has got his Zhonya's Hourglass, so he's no longer going to be an easy target in team. It's actually really good poke by Mash. He's got some real damage on a Hanser there. 1/3 health in the top lane tank. That poke build does some very serious damage. Maybe the auto attack uptime's not very high because there's no crit, but those Qs are great.
And they take the opportunity. They do try and close the loop here and clear out all the vision. One inside Baron, though.
And Sheep didn't see it there. Same Fish is going to go for the man drop. Here comes the fight.
And he's going to be left taking Baron damage.
With Hanser, good hook, good 1-for-0. Hanser into the back lines right now. Jess pops the Zhonya's after Deathmark comes in. Now can he get away from the rest of this? Does flash out, but Cops on the chase, gets some good damage. Mash on the chase, but he's getting crit in the face. Such good damage by Cop. He's one hit from the kill. You can see the value of an eye edge in that fight right there. And now Impaler in the front lines taking so much pain. Shutdown comes in. A hook onto Sheep, and look at all that getting done. Cop picking up another.
Even with Saint bursted down at the beginning of the fight, Cops 2 versus 1 on the AP and AD carries of Team Coast just won them that fight. Cop with that Infinity Edge that you love so much there for Lucian.
You need to buy it, and
coming in, able to 2 versus 1, both damage threats. However, once again, Dragon's already been taken, so there's no real objectives. They have to settle for crabs here.
Wow, so not a whole bunch gained. Dragon also in 2 minutes. They won't even keep vision over it.
All right, so I was watching the top side Cop pretty much the whole time. So we'll take a look at the bottom side this time around. Saint gets bursted down. Jez is going to start the whole thing over here, flashing over the wall. Hanser is taking him. Basically, this is Hanser, the super tank here for Curse Academy, taking up a lot of damage on the bottom side. Oh, and Chris is able to use that Zhonya's. King going down, Guardian Angel procced, and this is after Cop already had the 2 versus 1 with the double damage threats, able to come in and clean up for the team.
Yeah, the thing is, Chris has no mana. Like, he has no mana, and so without mana, he's not a damage source. Like, Ari and Ezreal were fighting Cop, and then it's like a Jarvan, a Blitzcrank, and a 0 mana Lissandra. Like, that's not going to kill ever. And because Cop was able to lifesteal tank off of a really great elixir pickup in the Bloodthirster, like, he just wouldn't go down.
Yeah, by the way, that elixir is ridiculous. Because there are so many team fights, it lasts for so long. Both AD carries rocking that one now, but you can even think about getting that one early before you finish your items.
Yeah.
All right, Baron started up again.
Well, a lot being done here for this one. Smite battle, though. Impaler is around. He gets hooked. That's actually a good thing for them. He doesn't manage to steal. That goes over to Curse Academy. They trade 1 kill so far. Saint in the back lines looking for Jess's. Cop is safe back here. He's going to kill the Ari off. Nice dodge there. But in comes Impaler. Finally picks that one up there. But it's 3 kills picked up for Team Coast.
Ooh, and there's no defense left. This is the tank and the support here for Curse Academy. Coast going to at least get an inhibitor, maybe end the game right now.
Problem is they're missing minions right now because there's that one Baron buff minion in the mid lane, like holding off the wave right here. They're going to get at least the inhibitor. Now, can they do enough?
Bottom is pushing up pretty close. Might be able to swing down there. Or oh, it's only 4v2
back door. They're going to try for it. Sheep in the front line hooks in Bunny Fufu. But here comes Hanser trying to do what he can. The turret's losing a lot of health. Bunny about to go down. They don't want to kill him that hard, though. They want this turret to go down. There's the one. Now on to the Nexus itself. Can they knock down Sheep and Mash? They're low on health, but it's not going to be enough. Nexus goes down, and Coast finds their win in Game 1.
Whew.
Yeah.
Long one. This is going to be a long day.
It is.
We had a best of 5 and then a 50-minute first game here. 50 minutes is really long on the preseason patch.
Yeah, you're still looking at 35-ish minute games, normally kind of on average, and these guys really went the distance. A slow start to the game, certainly, but it picked up, and these guys just kept trading advantages back and forth. See the coach there with them, kind of talking, saying, here, guys, here's what we need to do next time around. Here's what we got to fix. Curse Academy, of course, similar talk with their coaches.
Yeah, it seemed like the Pantheon there. This game didn't work out too well for them. The lane swaps early meant that neither jungler really had a big early impact. Yeah. And then it was just the invades there. The plays from Sheep in the early and mid game on that Blitzcrank really gave them a lot of control. And enabled them to get the early dragons, which, having the early dragons, you get to dictate the mid-game dragons because you don't want to give away any more to a team that already has a couple stacked up.
Right.
So it kind of gives you the power to decide when the fights are going to be.
But the weird thing is, Curse Academy still did so well despite that. Right?
Yeah.
First 2 dragons went to Coast, They had like control, they had vision control, and like Curse Academy kept finding ways to make great plays. I think part of that was Jess's getting a super late Zonia so he could be picked off so much. Like Kian went 9-4-4 that game. Like that's a very good score for a losing team who's down in kills. He made great plays. He really just punished a lot of people.
And Cop, pretty much all game, Cop was a huge threat for this team. He started off giving a huge amount of power in that bottom lane and drawing a lot of threats down there.
Yeah.
And then even in the end game, as we saw during those team fights, he was putting out close to optimal DPS pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, you bought a Zephyr, which I'm sad about, but it's okay. The rest of this, though, like, but like that's, I know I harp on it so much, but there was the exact example of why. Like, the poke build is fine. You can go for poke build, and you could see, like, with 4 Qs, he got Haunted to 10% health on Ezreal. Like, that's a legitimate build, and that's fine, and Mash did that, and he had value from that. But when you get in these, like, prolonged engagements where you're auto-attack trading, the crit build will win. And you have to make sure you fight in the right kind of battles so that you're playing to your builds. Right, like you're buying strategically, like unique items that work in certain scenarios. You've got to play to those scenarios.
The other thing is that it's a really skill-based matchup. The Ahri and Ezreal versus Illusion.
Yeah.
Both Ahri and Ezreal missed skill shots in that 2 versus 1.
Point.
So that's really the reason why he was able to 2 versus 1 there.
Yeah,
it's something that can go either way. So
I mean, I honestly do have to give props to Cop though, then for doing that right, kind of carrying that battle, getting a 1v2, dodging the skill shots. We saw a few rips of him, dashing away from a charm, flashing a predicted charm. Like, these are good things, and I think good players do predict skill shots more than they reflex dodge them. So I think that was a good set of plays as well.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You always got to be worried about what CC is coming your way as an AD carry.
All right, so honestly, a very good series. Do we have an interview coming up? I
Throw it over to Dash.
We do. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that properly. Yes, so we have Dash over with the interview. You want to take that away?
Thank you, Freak. Thank you so much for letting me speak. I'm here with Steve Liquid Arhancet, owner of Curse Esports. What a crazy game. The first game of the series, it definitely showed that this series can go the distance, but could also go either way. So impressions on how Curse Academy played in that first game.
I think the beginning of the game was a little bit more passive than they typically play in scrims. So hopefully they're getting their nerves out and just get ready for the next game. And it's a best-of-5 series. It could go either way. So.
Exactly. I want to jump into a little bit of the behind the scenes of having the Challenger team. Most people at home, of course, they're going to know Curse from the LCS squad that you guys have. So talk to me a little bit about the impetus behind bringing in a Challenger squad in Curse Academy.
Creating a Challenger team is something that not all owners in LCS do. I created the team primarily to have some pressure, some healthy pressure on the main squad. Have some players that are up and coming in the Challenger leaderboard that want to play competitively. Maybe they need a little bit more time to work with their coaches and analysts and understand the strategy of the game before they get into LCS. So I created a Challenger team, and those players, they have their own coach, they have their own manager. They're hungry to get into LCS, and it was also a place for players that were on the main squad to go to as well. And so, just over time, managing Challenger teams for the last couple of years, I put together Curse Academy, which I feel has got a lot of experience. It's got some fresh, awesome players like Bunny Fufu. I mean, I don't know if you saw the predicted flash hook in the double F game against, CLG, but I mean, the guy just has the mechanics. So, it's a lot of experience. It's a lot of fresh blood. It's a great team. It's got a lot of value and reach. There's a lot of popular players on that team. So, and I'm friends with a lot of the guys. I've known them for years. I mean, Cop, poor guy, I had to support him as a player a long time ago when I first played. So, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of friendship.
So would you say you're saying there is an element of using the Challenger squad to motivate the main squad, but also to groom these guys, even if the Challenger squad doesn't make it, to eventually maybe move them individually up to the LCS?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that follows any kind of traditional sports model, right? You're going to have people that are either on the bench or playing on the B team. They're hungry. They're motivating the guys that are on the A squad, and that's exactly what's happening here. And they get to scrim each other, right? They're like sister teams. So there's a lot of benefit to create these kind of environments and scrims so they can learn from each other. And, the guys, they talk to each other about what jungle champion might be overpowered, or, what lane matchup is good against X and Y. And so that discussion is really healthy, and it's nice to have a sister team with a main team.
All right, back to the series at hand. As you stated, these are guys who are experienced, some of them coming straight out of the LCS or have played at a very high level for a long period of time. You've got to have some confidence going into the next game, regardless of the loss, that these guys can walk away with this series.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, the Curse Academy, they have the skill, they have the mechanics, they have the knowledge, they have the experience, and they know how to win a best-of-5 series. You know, what I saw in this first game was just a little bit of nerves. They got to get that out. They have to play confident. They know how to win. You know, I think that they're actually one of the top 4 teams in all of LCS. You know, so I think they just need to prove it today. So.
Awesome. That's a strong endorsement. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. And, of course, good luck to the team in the coming games. To those of you at home, I'm going to throw a little plug out to you guys. If you are interested and in the area, we have tickets available for tomorrow's show and Sundays. So follow the link that's going to appear at the bottom of your screen and go ahead and grab some tickets so you can join this wonderful studio audience we have for these really exciting games. And with that, we're going to send it right back to the casters at the desk, Freak and Kobe, to get us into Game 2.